much of the research I've done in the earlier time was on actually ancient civilization, because as I was elaborating in my head by observing nature and by studying physics, new concepts of physics, I kept on finding that they seem to link to ancient texts and monuments and concepts of geometry and so on that you find in ancient times. Newton was clear, by the way, that he wrote most of his physics based on the knowledge he learned from studying ancient texts, not from apples falling on his head. Looking at these ancient knowledge sets with the eye of physics, it started to come alive. It started to give a whole different picture than what had been interpreted by the archaeology community at large. There's lots of evidence that there was a very advanced civilization prior to our written history that was on our planet. Seemed to be prior to a large cataclysm that moved a lot of things and changed a lot of things on our planet. And that there's remnants of that knowledge in many different cultures. All these very ancient texts, some of them very, very old, talk about these sun gods. After reading all this stuff and studying all this stuff from all sorts of different cultures around the world, it becomes compelling that this is not some imagination in a group of people isolated somewhere, that it's global, and that it's relating a real experience, a direct experience with advanced civilization. And you look at the stories and all the folklore in all these traditions from that time, from very ancient times. It's remarkable, the coordination, first of all, of the information across the planet, but as well the message that's given. And part of that message has to do with very powerful technology. Great potential to transform a civilization into a civilization of abundance, a civilization that has, a peaceful civilization, a civilization that has the capacity to explore, very large spans of our universe, and so on. In those folklore is very, very important advanced physics and technological information. And that some of these monuments we find that defy our capacity to build them today, like the pyramids and very enormous blocks of granite that were moved, in some cases hundreds of miles. I think those are large evidence that we have a lot to learn from these ancient civilizations, but we have to look at them not only in philosophical terms, but in actual physics and mathematics understanding, and that from there, and that's what I did, a whole new engineering technology can emerge. And that technology is a technology that directly interacts with the vacuum, directly interacts with the source of creation. It has the capacity to create gravitational fields, to control gravitational fields. Most importantly, it seems to come in direct resonance with the human spirit, the human mind, like any initiate that walk into the room with these objects that are found in all these different cultures. In the Hebrew culture, it was called the Ark of the Covenant of God. In the Quran, it's called the Kaaba, the dark crystal. In the Sumerian text, it's called the dark sun or the black sun. I believe it produces a teeny singularity, a small mini black hole, and it becomes interactive with your consciousness when you're close to it. We're about to rediscover this knowledge. I think we're about to rediscover this technology, but this time we are going to discover it. It's not going to be given to us. It really is just about us awakening to it. And I think that the sun gods not only left us all the information necessary, but on top of it left us calendars telling us, you guys have to have this figured by this time, because otherwise it might not be so good. You guys need this information, need this technology, because changes are going to occur on your planet. Creating a mini singularity is mastering our capacity to produce very highly dense, dynamic field interaction in a very small amount of space. All of our universe is driven by a change in density. There's always, the vacuum structure is never completely empty. We start to harmonize our technology and our consciousness to these fundamental movements of creation, these fundamental dynamics of creation, and that's, I think, what's missing in our technological world. In order to overcome gravity, we built large, phallic symbols. We put full of fuel in there, highly explosive material. We put a little capsule on top of it. We find volunteers to sit in it. And then, we light up the bottom and, start praying that the whole thing is not going to explode. And then, we shoot these people up, and then at the top, and just, a small ejaculation, and this little capsule gets full, orbiting a few miles up. All this energy, all this power necessary to, fight the gravitational field, instead of actually understanding what produces gravity, how it gets there, why is space-time curving, and so on, and then, working with it, like entering the flow of the dynamics of the gravitational field, and actually learning to play with them so that we can produce our own gravitational field, and then, if we can produce our own gravitational field, we can go anywhere we want with very little energy. You would think that after placing 2,300,000 stones and this incredible monument, the most precise monument ever built on Earth, the largest, the most massive monument, that the Pharaoh would have put a plaque somewhere. All these stories from all around the world, the Kaaba, the Black Sun, and all this, they're all like pushing us, leading us to the possibility of transforming our civilization from a civilization that believe that there's a limited amount of good, that there's scarcity, that there's a limited amount of space, and that we gotta fight for it, to a society that realizes that there's infinite amount of energy. It's everywhere. It's in the vacuum everywhere. That we just gotta learn to dance with it, and that as soon as we do that, we'll have, not only infinite amount of energy, but infinite amount of goods available to us, because we'll be able to control gravitational fields, and we'll be able to explore our solar system and beyond, and that there's no limitation. That the limitation is is only a result of our capacity to imagine a future of abundance. We're really gonna, literally, as the ancient text told us, we are gonna ascend at this time, not only philosophically, but actually literally become star child, star beings, galactic entities.